Hi guys, welcome to the channel. Thank you for stopping by. Today we are going to be drafting a shoulder dart bustier with this fancy yoke, as you can see on the screen. So please, if it's something you're interested in, stay tuned and let's do it together. I'm going to be cutting it and showing you all the process of sewing it from beginning to end. For the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to be working with these two fabrics, the African print and the lace. So let's get started. First of all, I'm going to be drafting it out on my pattern paper. So at the edge of my pattern paper, this way, I'm going to be ruling a line with 1/2 inch. This is going to serve as my shoulder line. Yes, it's going to serve as my shoulder line. Okay. So at the other end, just to make sure everything I'm doing is aligning and in a straight line, the line is serving as a guide. So this is my shoulder line, SH. I labeled it as my shoulder line. Okay, so let's continue. The next I'll be placing now is from the shoulder line. I'll be making a mark at my bust point. I'm working with a bust point of 11 on the bust 14 and a half length of 16.5 plus 1/2 inch for joining. So I'll connect all the points this way. My bust point, my on the bust of 14, 16 plus 1/2 inches joining allowance 17. That is my half length. Okay, so let's label it out. BP for bust point, UB for other under bust, and HL for half length. Okay, so this is what we'll have now. I believe it's clear. So the next thing is on the bust point, we are going to be placing our bust span now. Bust span, I'm working with a bust span of, it's meant to be 3.5 plus 1/2 inch joining allowance. That is 4. I placed 4 on the bust point, 3.5 on the underbust, and 3 at the half length. So coming up to the neckline now, I'm going to be placing the standard 3 inches by 8.5. Okay, I'm working with a shoulder of 8.5, 8 inches plus 1/2 inch for joining. So I'll come down there by 1 inch for my shoulder sloping. Okay, for my shoulder sloping that way. Then I'll connect it back to the 3 inches mark I made as my neck width this way. Okay, I believe it's clear. Next thing I'm going to do now is to place my armhole from the shoulder sloping. I'm working with an armhole of 8 inches. So that is it. 8 inches that way. I'll measure what I have up there and place it there too at the 8 inches to make sure it's in a straight line. Make a mark, then get my rule and connect the points to form my armhole. Okay, this way, then I'll further make an extension. So this is my armhole. Can call it your chest line too. So the next thing I'm going to place now is my shoulder allowance of 1/2 inch. I'll make the point at both ends this way. 1/2 inch at both ends. Then I'll connect using my rule. I love making use of my rule so that all my work will be in a straight line. Yes, I'll connect it this way. After that, I'm going to get the midpoint of my armhole. You know, it's 8 inches. Half of 8 is 4. At 4 inches, I'll go in by 1/2 inch this way. This is for my armhole effect. Then I'll connect with a straight my rule this way to the point 1.5 that I came in. I'm going to use my armhole curve at this point. But before I do that, at that angle 90, I went up by 1 inches. Then to know where it will end, I'm placing my bust point, my bust circumference divided by 4. That is what I have there, 10.5. So I'm going to connect now using my curve rule, making sure it's ending at that 10.5. Can you see that? Very neat and perfect. Okay. Next in line is to measure what I have left on my shoulder. Then I'll divide it by 2. Can you see? I have 6. Half of 6 is 3. So that point is 3 inches. This will enable me connect the points I have for my shoulder darts. Can you see? So I'll connect that point, the one I have in my under bust span, half length and shoulder. I'll connect it using my rule this way. Can you see? I love doing it this way. I connect it straight like this. Yep. So the next I'm going to be creating is my cup effect. At this part, I'll go in by 1 inch. Go in by 1 inch. Then at the other part, I'm going out by 1.5. Also at the under bust, 1.5. Okay. Then I'll connect with my straight rule. The 1 inch, I'll connect it down from the under bust to the half length and do same at the other end. Then at the shoulder, at this side, I'll be going out by 1 inch, then half an inch on the other side. Okay, then at the bust point, I'll go up by 0.5 and come down by 0.5 this way. So next I'll be doing is to use my curve rule and connect from the under bust to that 0.5 that I came down with at the bust point this way. Make sure your hand is straight. I'll do same at this other side to the 0.5 I came down with at the bust point. Okay. So this is what we'll have now. My rule is not long enough, so I'm going to use my rule now to connect from the shoulder to the 0.5 that I came down with at the bust points. I'll adjust it and make sure I get it accurately. Yes, this way. Okay. So this is what we'll have now. We've succeeded in creating our cup effect. So that's 1.5, 1.5, 1 inch, 1 inch, 0.5, 1 inch. Okay, so this is what I took out. So I'll be cutting out this part. This part will be cut out. It's no longer useful. And this part too, we are cutting it out. Okay, so the next we are placing is our horizontal measurements. On the chest line, remember we've already placed our bust divided by 4. So I'll measure what I have there and I will replace it. I have 0.5, I've replaced it. Then I'll put 2 inches for my sewing allowance. I'll do same thing on the bust point, 10.5. Then 2 inches for my sewing allowance. Okay, then at the bust point divided by 4, I have 9.5. I'll replace the dart I took there. That is 2.5. I'll replace the 2.5 over there. Let me do it again to be sure. This is 9.5. Then I'm replacing the 2.5. Then 2 inches for sewing allowance. Then at the half length, I have 8.5. Replace the 2.5 I took for the dart. Then 2 inches sewing allowance. I'm going to connect all the points this way. I'll connect all the points this way. Yes, this is what we'll have. So now let's work on the upper part. Let's work on the neckline to create both our neckline and the fancy yoke effect we'll have up there. Yes, so I'm working with a neck width of 3 inches and a neck depth of 3 inches. So 3 by 3. I'm placing 3 there. At this end too, I'll be placing 3 inches. Okay, I'll equally measure 3 inches this way. I want to make sure everything is accurate. Then I'll make use of my rule to connect all the points. 3 inches there, 3 inches this way. Okay, so at the angle 90 over there, I'll go up by 1 inch. When you do it this way, you get an accurate round neckline. So I'll connect the points this way, passing through the 1 inch I came up with at the angle 90. So this is it, perfect for a round neckline. So next thing I'll be creating is the yoke. At this point, you have to be creative, depending on how you want it to be. Okay, depending on how you want it to be. But before I do that, I forgot I'm supposed to replace the dart I took at the shoulder. The darts where we have 1 inch and ½ inch on the other side. So let me extend my shoulder line this way so that I can replace the dart I took on my shoulder line. Okay, so this point here, what we'll have there is 1.5. So I'll replace the 1.5 at this end. I'm going to recreate my armhole. I'll recreate my armhole this way, exactly the same way I did it earlier. I came down by 8 inches. The armhole I'm working with 8 inches that way. So I'll get the midpoint, which is 4, come in by ½ an inch at 4 inches. Use my rule, connect it upward this way, then make use of my curve rule to finish it up that way. Okay, so this is it, perfect. Please rule out this first one. I shouldn't have done it. I'm supposed to replace the shoulder line before doing that. But the good thing about pattern drafting, even if you forget, you can always do the needful whenever you remember. So this is it. The yoke, the lace I'll be having up there, I want it to start at that point, and I'll go down by, let me make use of 8 inches. I think 8 inches would be okay. I don't want the cleavage to show. I don't want the breast to be showing. Okay, so this is it. So you're going to curve it out creatively. You have to be creative here. There is no particular pattern. This is a design I'm trying to create. So I curved it out. I think I like this shape. So this is going to be a lace. Okay, then this will be my African print. This one will equally be my African print. Okay, so this is it. Yes. So the next we are going to do is to cut it out gently. Please, I want you to pay close attention to the lines I'm cutting out, please. So this part is not inclusive in this drawing. Remember, I told you it's a guide. So don't consider it to be part of what we just drafted. Please, haven't watched to this part, please consider subscribing, give the video a thumbs up, and keep watching. So this is the armhole I'm cutting. This last one I created. Please watch all the lines I'm cutting out. Don't make mistake and go cutting the wrong line. Watch all the lines I'm cutting out. Okay, so take a close look at what I'm doing. Can you see? Please, this is where people have problem trying to cover out their hand at this point. No mistakes, just do it exactly the way I'm doing it and you see the outcome is going to be perfect. Can you see that? Then I'm going to the other parts. Just watch closely. Watch closely and see all the lines I'm cutting out. See how gentle I'm being. You don't have to be in a haste. You don't have to be in a haste. Because if you make a mistake at this part, it's going to affect the outcome of your work. Your boss won't kick properly the way it should if you didn't cut it out right at this point. So let's cut this part off. Remember I told you it's just a guide to make sure the center part is straight. Okay, so this is the neckline. We are cutting it out, covering up my hand, following the lines. Okay, so this is it. Then that remaining part at the shoulder, we'll cut it out too. Now we'll have this part left, so we are going to cut out the parts. But let me label. I'm going to be adding half an inch this part, half an inch this part for joining the both back. And remember, this part will be cut on fold. Okay, on fold. The lace part too here will be cut on fold. Please don't make a mistake. Always label it out this way so that you can remember when you're cutting it out on your fabric. Most times one tends to forget if you didn't label it out this way. So this is it. So this is it. I'm done with the front block. Let's move over to the back panel. So the first thing you're going to do is place 2 inches. This 2 inches is going to serve as your zipper allowance. This my rule is exactly 2 inches. So I rule it this way. When you're done with that, at the upper part, you make a rule at half an inch. This is going to serve as your shoulder allowance. Okay. So let's place our vertical measurements from the shoulder there to our underbust, bust point and half length. Bust point of 11 inches, 14 for underbust, 17 for half length. Then you connect the points. Okay, so let's label the point. SH shoulder, BP bust point, UB underbust, HL half length. So this is the zipper allowance of 2 inches. Okay, so the next thing we are going to be placing is our bust span divided by 2 plus half an inch. That is 4 at the bust point, 3.5 at the other bust, and 3 inches at the half length. So after that, I'm placing my shoulder divided by 2, then the neck width of 3 inches. At the shoulder point, I'll come down by 1 inch for my shoulder sloping. Then connect the 1 inch back to the neck width of 3 inches, as you can see. Yes. So after that, you measure what you have there left, get the midpoint. I have 6, half of 6 is 3 inches. So you fold your tape into 2, then connect all the points from the half length to the shoulder this way. Okay. At the underbust, I'm going to go in by half an inch on both sides. Half an inch on both sides as shown. Then I'll connect it this way, upward towards the shoulder, this way. Then I'll take it down. I'm actually using a diamond dart for the back panel. Yes, so this is how to create a diamond dart. So now I'm going to be placing my, okay, before I do that, I'm going to be joining that shoulder with 1/2 inch. So I'll replace 1/2 inch from this side and the other side, that's 1 inch. Then I'll replace the 1 inch as follow. Now measure what I have there, take it down this way, make a mark at that point. Okay, so from the end of the shoulder there, I'll measure 8 inches for my armhole depth. I'm working with 8 inches for my armhole depth. Then I will connect the 2 points as shown. I will extend the 8 inches this way. That is my armhole line, or you can equally call it your chest line. Okay, the next thing I'll do is get the midpoint of the chest armhole line that way. From the midpoint, I will connect this way using my curve rule. Okay, so I'm placing my other measurements, my bust divided by 4. I'll measure what I have there on the dart. I'll replace it. I have 1/2 inches, I replace it. I'm adding 1 inch that I'm going to use and join the 2 ends. Then 2 inches for my sewing allowance. My under bust divided by 4, 8.5. I'm placing it down there at the under bust. Measure what I have on the dart, which is 1 inch. 1 inch, I'll replace it. What I'm going to use and join 1 inch, then 2 inches for my sewing allowance at the half length, 9.5. 1 inch that I'm going to use and join it. Then 2 inches sewing allowance. Okay, so these are the points I have. I will connect it this way. I'll slightly curve out my hand this way to connect it from the chest line through the bust point, the other bust, and the half length. So I'm going to be placing 1/2 inch this way for my shoulder allowance. This is the allowance I'm going to use and join the front and the back block. Then I'll connect the 2 points as shown using my rule. So next is me creating my neckline. I'm working with a neck depth of 3 inches. Remember, we'll have a neck width of 3 inches. So I'll use my curve rule this way. Sorry, a neck depth of 2 inches. Then I'll connect it as shown. Okay. Extend it towards the zipper allowance because I'm going to be cutting off that part. So I will extend these lines towards the zipper allowance now. Next I will be doing is to contour my zipper allowance. So at the under bust, I'll go in by 1/2 inch this way. Then I'll connect it upwards towards the neckline, but I won't get the neckline. I'm down towards the half length. That 1/2 inch I took there, I'll go in there by 1/2 inch. I'm trying to create my new zipper allowance. I'll take it up the way I did earlier and take it down towards the half length as shown. Okay, so this is my new zipper allowance. It is sharp there. You try to blend any form of sharpness. So this will be my new zipper allowance. I'll be cutting off that part. Okay, so the next I'm going to do is to slope my back. The back is shorter. The back half length is shorter than the front half length. So there I'm going up by 1 inch. I'm going up by 1 inch. The back half length is 16, while the front half length is 17. So I will connect it back this way. Okay. So this is it. I'll connect it back this way. So that's my new back half length at the zipper allowance side. So next is to cut it out as shown. Watch the points I'm cutting out closely. Subscription is free. Please do well to subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up. So click the next video below is on the sewing tutorial. Do well to check it. Just after this video, the next one is part 2, which is the sewing tutorial. Thank you and God bless. God bless you so much. Love you.